Hello, this is Karina Taylor Brown. I'm an associate broker with RE/MAX Executives in Northern Virginia, and today we're going to talk about the as-is clause. Many of you have heard about buying your property, buying them as is, and perhaps you don't know what that means. One of the things I'd like to mention is that for the first 30 years I was in business, most of the homes were sold in normal working order. That meant that the seller could use the bathroom, use the kitchen, expect to live there without it leaking upon them, etc. 2 years ago, in 2013, the Northern Virginia Association of Realtors decided to do away with normal working order. Actually, all three jurisdictions changed the contract, did away with normal working order because we realtors love to fight about it. You know, for example, when you turn the stove on and the back burner doesn't really come on, well, the seller's used to it, so that's normal to him, but the buyer doesn't think it's normal. If you have to double click the faucet in the bathroom to turn it off, that's normal to the seller, it's not normal to the buyer. So to get rid of the confusion, they decided to go with as is. That meant that the buyer was buying whatever the seller was selling. You can have a home inspection and determine if you're happy with that or not, but there's no assumed responsibility that the plumbing works, that the electrical works, that the heating goes to all the bedrooms. None of that is assumed in the contract. Actually, in our Northern Virginia contract, paragraph 10 on page 7 of 16, property maintenance and condition. It says right here, purchaser acknowledges, except as otherwise provided, that the property, including the electrical, plumbing, existing appliances, heating, air conditioning equipment, and fixtures, shall convey as is. Now, this can be subject to a home inspection. The other part to this is they do have to tell you whether you're on public water, public sewer, what type of heat you have, and then on the next page, page 8, they list out any, washer, dryer, etc. that conveys with the property. So if it's not on here, if it's not checked off that the stove or the washer is coming with the house, they don't have to come with the house. Let's take a little bit longer look at this as is. Now, for a while, and in Maryland and DC, your as is then refers back to a whole list of disclosures which the seller is required to give you about how their home is working. Is there standing water in the yard? Is there heat to all the rooms? Has the roof leaked, etc.? Now that's what you get in Maryland and DC. You don't get that in Virginia. What you get in Virginia is this very simple statement right here, this Virginia property disclosure, and here it says, the owner makes no representations with respect to the matters set forth in the contract, that is, with respect to the condition of the property. They're making no representations to you whatsoever. They do give you, State of Virginia gives you an alert that perhaps you should learn a little bit more about what's going on in your property, and that refers you over to this website, this DPOR, it's a Virginia term, Department of Professional and Occupational Regulation. Anyway, this DPOR document says you can go online and maybe you should think about the condition of the home, whether the adjacent parcels are going to be developed, whether in a historic district, if there are sex offenders in the area, if there are dams that are going to break around you, things like that. But again, none of this pertains to the physical condition of the property. So you really don't have any protection in the contract as to the physical condition of the property. Now, most people are recommended to get a home inspection, and you definitely need a home inspection. So here's a typical home inspection. These days, the home inspectors take a lot of pictures of the property. They're going to highlight, little items that they find, which makes it easier to get bids from the contractors. They'll list out the condition. But remember, your home inspector cannot see behind the walls. If the basement's been recently finished or refinished and there's fresh paint, you don't know if there was a leak down there 6 months ago. And whereas in Maryland and DC, the sellers have to tell you if it leaked 6 months ago, in Virginia, they don't. If they've fixed the problem, they've extended the gutters on the downspout, or to my mind, they've fixed the problem, they're done. They don't have to tell you that it used to leak. So that's you don't have that protection. But you definitely recommend it to get the home inspection. Another thing, now my clients, I always make sure we have a home warranty on the property because something breaks down, the water heater, the dishwasher, the disposer, whatever. Now the home warranties are just good for 1 year, and you do have a deductible. They cover the seller while the property's on the market, and then they cover the buyer after that. And you know, just like any insurance or warranty program, I don't know what's covered or not covered. Electrical wiring's covered, but electrical fixtures are not. So when you buy a home, you are taking on the responsibility of that home and its maintenance. You know, this is a caution for some people coming out of rental properties. You can't just call the landlord. It is your responsibility. Oh, okay. So I have just one more thing, one more piece of paper to show you and one more set of thoughts to go over with this as-is discussion. Okay, we do have a contingencies and clauses page, and really when you're buying a property as is, particularly from a seller, such as a bank or a short sale, they're really expecting that you'll take it as is of all of these items here. This is a separate, different from the real estate contract. This is an addendum. And it says here, whether or not the seller will deliver the property free and clear of trash and debris. Are you going to take all the garbage that's currently in the house, or do you want that removed? All laws and regulations regarding smoke detectors. Virginia law requires a smoke detector. If you're buying a bank-owned, dilapidated property, there may not be smoke detectors. They need to let you know this. All clauses pertaining to termites and wood-destroying insects, such as carpenter bees, carpenter ants. Those are not under the as-is clause. Those are under a separate paragraph, the termite paragraph. All clauses pertaining to written orders of notices of violation, zoning ordinances, second kitchens in the basement are typically forbidden. Long grass is a zoning violation. Property owners and condominium owners associations. When you get the HOA book or the condo documents, there may be a requirement to fix the falling off gate in the back, to repaint the trim on the exterior. And even though we have a contract that says as is, we often ask the seller to fix those things. So if the home is being sold totally as is, that box should be checked that the seller is not required to fix HOA and condominium items. Actually, this is a little protection for the buyer. It's covered under a separate paragraph in the contract under title. Under the clause where the seller has to deliver clear title, it would imply or require that the seller conform to these property owner, HOA, homeowners association, and condominium documents, that they clear any requests for improvements on those documents. It's actually covered under the title. So where does that leave you, Mr. and Mrs. Purchaser? Most negotiations, they can get the seller to fix dripping faucets, dangerous electrical, things like that. It's not required. It just is a holdover from the past that things should generally work. When it comes to doors that don't close properly, or windows and screens that don't open or are broken, that is very, very hard to get a seller to do. Their real estate agent will not bully them into it. They generally won't do it. Only if they're desperate to sell the house will they fix windows and doors and creaky staircase. Well, thanks for spending some time with me to learn about as is and how that pertains to the property condition of the home that you're looking at. So you have several clauses to consider: your property condition clause, your home inspection clause, your right to review your HOA and condominium documents clause, title, termites. I hope that helps. It's all as clear as mud. Call me or your local realtor and we'll try to help you understand a little bit better about how we sell a home as is in Northern Virginia.